The story begins with the main character Mild, who always keeps her face hidden inside a box. But the real question is why? Because back in her childhood, Mild had once confessed her love to a boy, only to be ridiculed mercilessly. That boy laughed at her, mocked her feelings, and cruelly called her ugly. He even told her to always hide her face behind a box because no one in this world would ever wish to see such an ugly face. From that day on, Mild kept her face concealed and even stopped going to school. Eventually, she locked herself inside her room, isolating herself completely. Her father tried everything, introducing her to countless psychologists in hopes of curing her fear, but none of it ever worked. One day, her psychologist suggested that she should return to school, believing that social interaction might help her overcome her trauma. Her father decided to enroll her in the same school as her younger brother, Nanon. Hearing this, Mild became furious, locked herself inside her room, and refused to listen. But her playful brother Nanon managed to coax her out and even built her a new box to hide inside while attending school. In reality, Mild was an extraordinarily beautiful girl, but because of the childhood scar of being labeled ugly, she had never even dared to look at herself in the mirror. Her father and brother kept assuring her again and again that she was breathtakingly beautiful, though she never believed them. Nanon, meanwhile, was a mischievous rascal who seemed to invent a new prank every other day. He stole a notepad from a stationery shop and bolted out, but unfortunately for him, he was caught in the act by his senior Mech, who was also notorious as the school bully. Mech chased after him, fuming, and began scolding him harshly. At that very moment, another man named Victor appeared. Having recently shifted to the area, Victor thought Mech was simply bullying the child. So, he freed Nanon, and fearlessly stood against Mech. They ended up fighting, though Victor lost miserably. Finally, the day came when, after 3 long years, Mild stepped out of her house. Her father dropped her at school, but as soon as she entered, other students began mocking her for wearing a box on her head. Terrified, she bumped into Victor, who asked her to remove it. Panicked, she ran away. Unfortunately, her bad luck was not done for the day, as she then collided with Mech and his gang of unruly friends, who immediately began bullying her. Just then, Victor heroically intervened, rescued her, and promised that he would never again ask her to remove the box. Hearing this, Mild grew deeply emotional, and this moment marked the beginning of a heartwarming love. In class, whenever others teased her, Victor always stood by her side like a shield. One day, while returning from school, both of them saw Mech bullying a younger student. They rushed to intervene, but the police suddenly appeared at the scene. In the chaos, Mech grabbed Mild and ran away. To avoid being identified by the police, he forcibly removed her box. When Mech saw the gorgeous girl hidden beneath, he was stunned into silence. But poor Mild fainted from the trauma of her box being taken off. When she regained consciousness in the hospital, she recalled everything and wept bitterly. Meanwhile, Mech couldn't get her out of his mind. Later, Mild, still wearing a mask, went to him and demanded her box back. Mech refused. Irritated, she slapped him. But instead of getting angry, Mech thought of it as a blessing. Apparently, for him, being slapped by a beautiful girl was equivalent to winning the lottery minus the money, of course. Eventually, Mild stormed off in anger. Soon after, Victor confronted Mech, warning him that if he liked Mild, he shouldn't trouble her. But villains rarely change their colors. Mech spitefully taunted her again, calling her ugly and questioning who would ever love her. Hearing this broke Mild's heart, and she locked herself in her room once more, abandoning school again. Mech soon began to feel guilty. He went to Mild's house to apologize, but her father scolded him furiously and sent him away. Later, Victor met her, insisted on seeing her, and gifted her a newly crafted box that he had made with his own hands. This sweet gesture strengthened their bond, and Mild returned to school alongside him. Their closeness grew so much that everyone began assuming they were in a relationship, which made Mech furious. The next day at school, a classmate named Ozone approached Mild for help. Tired of being bullied by Mech, Ozone sought her support, since Mild was the only one who had ever dared to stand up to him, but Mild refused. Later, more students came to her for help, but she turned them away as well, wishing to stay far from Mech's drama. Eventually, Ozone revealed that Mech had been beating up her younger brother. Shocked, Mild rushed to the spot to stop the fight, and scolded Mech harshly for beating Nanon. However, it was later revealed that it wasn't Mech, but his friends who had been bullying her brother. Furious, Mech scolded his friends and declared that from then on, they must abandon all such wrongdoings. But in exchange, he demanded that Mild remove her box publicly, in front of everyone. At first, Mild refused, so Mech began hitting Nanon. To stop him, Mild finally removed her box, leaving everyone utterly shocked. Deeply disappointed, she took her brother and started walking back, when Victor appeared. At first, he too was stunned to see Mild's face, but when he asked her about it, Mild couldn't hold back anymore. She broke down in tears and hugged him tightly. The scene then shifts to Mech, who that very night climbed through Mild's window. He apologized and confessed that he had lied that day, telling her that in his eyes she was actually the most beautiful girl. Saying this, he quietly left. Later, Mild logged into her online group, where she saw everyone praising her beauty. For the first time, she finally dared to look at her face in the mirror and was stunned by what she saw because she is really beautiful. The next day, both Victor and Mech came to take her to school. Her father asked the two how they planned to take her. Victor said she would ride with him on his bike, while Mech claimed he would take her on the bus. Although her father was reluctant to send her with anyone, upon Nanon's insistence he allowed her to go with Victor. Still, Mech did not give up. He tried to impress Nanon and win his favor. At school, Mild discovered once again that Mech was scolding someone. She rushed to confront him, but Mech explained that those students had written vulgar comments about her. To this, Mild replied that such things shouldn't matter to him, and told him to stop behaving this way. Mech then promised her that from that day on, he would never lie to her again. For some time things went smoothly, and soon the entire school went on a camping trip. The leader of the camp was Vivian, considered the most beautiful girl in the school. She gave everyone different tasks, which they all enjoyed. But seeing Mild and Victor grow closer, Mech began to feel jealous. Because of her fear of water, Mild refused to go near it. However, Mech picked her up, placed her on a swing, and pushed her into the water, jumping in with her. Surprisingly, both of them enjoyed themselves a lot, but Vivian noticed everything. Later, she confronted Mild privately and revealed that Mech was her fiancé, and she did not appreciate how close he was with her. Hearing this, Mild became upset and began ignoring Mech. When Mech discovered why she was avoiding him, he boldly declared in front of everyone that he neither wanted the engagement nor Vivian, as it was arranged by his parents without his consent. Hearing this, Vivian walked away in tears. Mild, however, went to comfort her, and Vivian told her about a night game in which she could participate with her friend Victor. Later, when they were alone, Victor confessed his feelings to Mild, but told her she did not need to give him an answer immediately, and she can tell him whenever she feels that way. That night, during the game, all the students had to go into the forest to find 3 flags and complete the given tasks. The team that finished first would win. Since Victor was afraid of the dark, he reluctantly went along with Mild. Meanwhile, Mech, wearing a ghost mask, scared everyone. Victor ran off in fear, and while following him, Mild ended up in a wooden hut. Mistaking Mech for Victor, she confessed her true feelings and even kissed him. Soon, everyone else arrived, and Mild fainted from the shock of realizing it was Mech instead of Victor. When she regained consciousness, she apologized to Victor, telling him she had mistaken Mech for him. Ironically, this misunderstanding made Victor happy because it meant Mild also had feelings for him. He then told her to ignore Mech completely, after which the two began spending even more time together. Watching this, Mech grew heartbroken because he too had fallen in love with Mild. Later, Victor took Mild to swimming practice since sports day was approaching. After practice, when they were about to leave, Mild realized she had forgotten her bag and went back to get it. There, she found Mech waiting for her. He told her that if she didn't like him, she wouldn't have been upset after hearing about his engagement. Saying this, he tried to kiss her again, but when Victor's call came, Mild pushed him away and left. Now the sports day finally arrived. Mild's class won their match, while Mech's class secured second place. In the final round, Victor emerged victorious, which only fueled Mech's frustration. Vivian approached to comfort him, but he bluntly told her that he didn't like her and that the sooner she accepted this, the better. Heartbroken, Vivian left in tears. The next day, Mild waited for Mech, hoping to comfort him, but instead, Vivian came to her and told her that Mech was in the swimming room. When Mild reached there, Vivian's friends bullied her, threw her into the pool, and beat her badly. Fortunately, Victor and Ozone arrived in time and rescued her. Victor began hitting Vivian, but stopped midway simply because she was a girl. Yet, this act did not sit well with Mild at all. Displeased, she ran away, sat down on a bench, and covered her face with a shopping bag. Mech was the first to reach her. Seeing her face hidden under a bag, He teased her with questions, but when he removed it and saw her weeping so badly, he grew concerned. Disturbed by the sight of her face, he asked what had happened, but Mild refused to tell him who was behind it. Instead, Mek told her that if she remained innocent and fragile, the world would crush her beneath its feet and move forward without hesitation. He advised her to be strong. Mild then asked why, if he was truly a good person, he roamed around in everyone's eyes as the villain. To this, Mek confessed that his younger brother had died in a car accident, and to this day, the driver had never been punished. That was why he had decided to put on a mask of strength before the world, so that no one could ever take advantage of him. After this conversation, Mek escorted Mild home, where Victor was waiting. Victor apologized to her and promised he would never behave in such a way again. The very next day, a video of Vivian attacking Mild went viral across the school. Outraged, Mek confronted Vivian in front of everyone, humiliated her publicly, and declared that while earlier he was just not into her, but now he had grown to despise her. Later, when Mild was on her way home, a boy began following her. Mek noticed this and ensured she reached her stop safely. But suddenly, a car approached and tried to hit her. Mek fought fiercely with the driver to protect her, and as a result, he had to go to the police station. Victor made the video of this incident and showed it to Mild's father, who immediately instructed her to stay away from Mek. But Mild refused. The next day at school, the same boy once again followed Mild. Mek caught him and brought him before her. The boy introduced himself as Tar and apologized, admitting that in childhood he had been among those who called her ugly, though it was only meant as a joke, not the truth. But Mild furiously shouted at him, saying that their so-called joke had ruined her entire life and that she would never forgive him. Tar then pointed out that she had already forgiven the person who actually said ugly to her. It was then revealed that Victor was the very same boy to whom Mild had once confessed her love in childhood, and he was the one who called her ugly. Shocked, she tried calling him repeatedly, but he did not answer. Later, Mek asked why she still wore the box, and upon hearing her explanation, he told her it was nothing but a sign of weakness that she needed to face her fears instead. The next day, Victor brought her a gift and openly confessed his love. But Mild told him she had discovered the truth, that Victor was the boy she had once proposed to. Victor later revealed everything. After that incident, he had gone to her father, and it was her father who had asked him to befriend her. Enraged, Mild confronted her father, declaring she did not need anyone interfering in her life, and stormed away. Mek then comforted her, explaining that both her father and Victor only wanted her well-being, and that instead of fighting them, she should try to understand their intentions. Afterwards, Mek once again took Mild home, but there they ran into Victor. A heated fight broke out between the two boys, until Mild intervened and stopped them. Just then, a gang of boys arrived on motorbikes and hurled acid at her. Mek leapt in front of her, and the acid splashed onto his leg instead. Meanwhile, while chasing the boys, Victor got hit by a car. Mild's family rushed both of them to the hospital. Vivian came to visit Mek, but he told her he knew it had been her plan to attack Mild with acid, and that he never wanted to see her face again, asking her to leave. Later, Mild came and confessed her feelings for him, but Mek gave no reply. Heartbroken, she went to Victor, who apologized and admitted he still liked her, though he told her that if she was not ready to respond, that was fine. Soon after, Ozone told Mild that Vivian had left for good and would not return. Later, another girl informed Mild that Mek was beating up his younger brother. When she rushed to stop him, she scolded him harshly, but Nanan explained that Mek was only teaching him how to fight. Embarrassed, Mild realized her mistake and began talking to Mek again, though he coldly ignored her and walked away. She continued trying to meet him, but he ignored her again and again, something that even Nanan made fun of, joking that she was chasing him more than a fan chasing a K-pop idol. Their summer vacation soon approached and Victor, having fully recovered, returned to school. In front of everyone, he confessed his love for Mild. But she told him that she did not like him in that way and only wanted to remain friends. Saddened, Victor walked away, while Ozone comforted him. Victor teased her, asking if perhaps she liked him, but Ozone denied it, saying that he is not his type at all. Meanwhile, Mild kept trying to reach Mek, but his friends stopped her. Then, in front of everyone, Mek finally confessed his own feelings, admitting that he had fallen in love with her at first sight. Mild told him she would only agree to date him if he promised never to fight again. Mek agreed and made her a pinky promise. Mild's parents were far from happy, but eventually they gave in to their daughter's stubbornness, telling Nanan to always accompany them. And so Mild and Mek went on their very first date, where they enjoyed themselves immensely though. Of course Nanon tagged along as the official third wheel. Mek was resting on a bench when a few thugs came and started harassing him. Remembering the promise he had made to Mild, he tried to walk away, but the thugs beat him badly, and yet Mek did not retaliate. When Mild later saw the marks on his face, she assumed that Mek had once again gotten into a fight, so she became upset and left him. Mek, however, didn't tell anything but revealed the entire truth to Nanon. That night, Mek secretly went to meet Mild, apologized to her, and once again promised that he would never hit anyone. Meanwhile, Nanon shared everything with Victor, and together they went to confront the thugs, but the two were no match for them and ended up getting beaten badly. Just then, Mek arrived, and seeing Nanon hurt triggered memories of the moments he had spent with whom he considered like a brother. Fueled by that, he fought back against all the thugs, with Victor also standing by his side. Nanon was badly injured, so they all rushed him to the hospital. Outside, Mild angrily scolded Mek and broke up with him, believing he would never change. Mek, however, did not even try to clear her misunderstanding. Victor advised him that he should tell Mild the truth, but Mek didn't listen. For the next few days, both Mek and Mild stayed apart, missing each other deeply. Eventually, Nanon regained consciousness and asked about Mek, but Mild scolded him, telling him never to take Mek's name again. To this, Nanon explained that it wasn't Mek's fault. In fact, Mek had saved his life. If he hadn't arrived on time, Nanon might not even be alive. He also revealed that even that day, Mek had not fought back but had quietly endured the beating. Hearing this, both Mild and her father were filled with guilt, and she realized that Mek never broke his promise. Mild went to Mek, hugged him from behind, and apologized. She told him that she felt proud of him for keeping his promise, and that from now on, she too would listen to him and step out of her fears. After this, their patch-up took place. Some time passed, and Mild's father invited Victor, Ozone, and Mek for dinner. There, they all dined happily together, like one big family. After dinner, Victor dropped Ozone home, and during that time both of them realized they liked each other. Meanwhile, Mek and Mild finally confessed their love to each other, and with that, the story came to a happy ending.